No problem. Forget that highlight. No problem.
No. And I don't know whether it's because they have this makeshift lineup today, but actually the line of Barcelona wasn't as crazy high as it usually is. There seemed to be a lot more organization and, dare I say, structure to the midfield. And I was, let's just say, curious to see how that partnership of Eric Garcia, Fermín López, and maybe even Dani Olmo, because Dani Olmo doesn't help defensively, how was that going to work? And it actually gave this team a lot more of a defensive setup, more organization in the defensive setup with Eric Garcia playing in the midfield. Athletic Club did not take advantage of what I thought would be an area of strength for them. And Barcelona, when there were moments for them to drop off, they did. And they absorbed some pressure. And that's why we didn't see Athletic Club just running in behind like crazy. That's why we didn't see Nico Williams really exploiting his speed. And that's why we only saw Nico Williams with the one chance that he had. It was a build-up down the left-hand side. It wasn't a counter-attacking opportunity for Athletic Club. I thought it was a control, discipline, dare I say, mature performance for Barcelona. Ooh. They keep the shot out, which I didn't think they were capable of doing. And yes, I said it was going to be 2-2. And man, was I wrong. This was dominant from Barcelona. And this is more of what they need, to be able to defend with organization first. Not sliding challenge or 1v1 defend, organization. And then from there, you allow your team to take over because of the quality that they have in the middle third and especially in the final third.
Yeah, stunning scenes that we saw there from the Camp Nou with the fireworks going off. That's exactly the homecoming that Hansi Flick would have wanted, and probably just to put to bed some of the criticisms that his system and his style have come under.
Probably. I mean, it has to be said that Athletic Club didn't test them enough today. So we all talked about the weakness of Barcelona not being well organized defensively. You would expect other teams going there and testing them a bit more, but Athletic Club, whether it's because they're in the Champions League now, it's kind of an extra, not say pressure, but you know, the effort they put in today wasn't enough. But also, as we said before, coming to the Camp Nou again after all this time of renovation, I think there was so much excitement. It probably wasn't the easiest day to face them today because there was so much emotion going in as well. It was a fair result, as we could see looking at the stats as well.
Just looking at the goals, we got 4 goals, Ale. You did pick Ferran as well to shine, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, and Ferran Torres, people may overlook him when you think of the great players that are currently with Barcelona, but he has been a really important piece for Hansi Flick because when Lewandowski was injured, Ferran Torres was scoring goals. Now Marcus Rashford had fever and Ferran Torres is playing on the left-hand side and he's scoring goals. And the moment that Lamine Yamal gets injured or he may not be able to play, then you throw Ferran Torres over on the right and he'll score a goal. And so if you're a player like Ferran Torres, while everybody else is paying attention to Lamine Yamal, to Robert Lewandowski, to Rafinha, to Pedri, to this guy, to the other guy, you just continue to score goals, you're going to find yourself on the field. And I think Hansi Flick has understood that I don't know where is this guy's best position, but I do know that he finds himself in dangerous positions in the final third, and he has added consistency to his productivity. What else do you want from a player that is supposed to be sort of on the fringes of the starting 11, has become a fixture in the 11, and has now added consistency in terms of that productivity? He's done great for Hansi Flick and for Barcelona.
Yeah, this is a valuable player to have for Hansi Flick, isn't he?
It is, and looking at the team, when you have so many different goal scorers, that's always a good asset. Some of the big teams, they have like, you know, one target man. Again, looking at English football, Haaland, you know, he dominates this Man City team. But now you have Barcelona thinking like, they can all score. They're the front 5, 6 players. They can all score. Ferran Torres being one. Rafinha came on. Of course, we know he can score goals. So that's really exciting knowing that you have so many players who are calm in front of goal.
And it also helps that you have Lamine Yamal.
Yes.
Let me just say, that adds value. The assist to Ferran Torres with the outside of the left foot, he has done it so many times, and usually it's Rafinha on the other side of that you kind of go, well, it's just outside the left foot. All right, well, everybody does that. But this, from Lamine Yamal, is next level. This is special. The pass is one thing, but getting away from the defender, spinning away from the defender, and then delivering a pass that has the right pace so that he can split defenders and time it correctly, it is gorgeous on Lamine Yamal.
This is Leo Messi. Honestly, when I just watch it, like, this is Leo Messi style. The way he's dribbling through midfield, the pass, everything to perfection. Honestly, I love watching this kid play.
Yeah.
This is just unbelievable.
And I don't know if you noticed this, but Thomas is a very calm guy.
He's very calm.
Yeah.
But
I'm getting
very calm.
Very put
yes,
together.
very elegant, very calm about him. When he saw Lamine Yamal do that, there was a smile.
Yep.
There was excitement.
Oh,
He made a
course,
little.
come on.
Yeah.
It was a little slight voice, like a little.
Yeah. See. And if we can get Thomas excited, then you know we have something special.
I would do the shoe polish celebration.
right.
No,
Shoe
listen,
polish
with this
Debbie?
team, I would. You know, if you have such a teammate, he deserves it all day long.
I mean, if he's scoring for you and then he's serving up passes like that to you, you'll take it all day long. But look, I know that Lamine Yamal, we want to call him the future because he still is so young, but he really is the right now, and we know that he has a long career ahead of him. But with the Lamine Yamal hype, we almost forgot that there is still such a stalwart at Barcelona, and that is Robert Lewandowski. I mean, I keep saying it, death taxes, Robert Lewandowski goals, all guarantees in life, Thomas, but he did have a little moment where he dropped off. Everyone was wondering if maybe his time at Barcelona and his career is going to come to an end sooner than later, but he's proving us all wrong.
He is. I'm a big fan of his. You know, obviously I've watched him for so long in the Bundesliga, knowing how good he is, and then you think, moving on to Barcelona, what's going to happen next? But he's going to make every team better. He's proven that year after year. With this, he knows his position, and I said it before. You know, with the left foot, you think, you know, his right foot is much stronger, and yet he knows how to score from there. Even though he's getting some help from one of the best keepers in Europe, but you've got to be there, being, you know, paying attention, supporting the team. This guy is one of the best strikers in Europe and has been for many, many years.
Ale?
Yeah. Again, it helps Robert Lewandowski that he has the group of players that he has around him, because it allows him to focus on the thing that he still does really, really well and at a very high level, which is finishing chances. He doesn't have to get out of the width of the 18-yard box. In fact, I would argue that he doesn't even have to get out of the width of the 6-yard box. That's where he'll operate, and when he finds himself in those positions, and you have the service coming from Lamine Yamal, you have the service coming from Ferran Torres, when Pedri's on the field, when Rafinha's on the field, you start thinking about all the options that are available to Robert Lewandowski, and what he needs to do is what he has done over the course of his whole life, not just his career, his whole life. Naturally find spaces inside the 18-yard box and provide that final touch. He's still capable of doing that, again, at a very high level.
Well, like we were saying, we saw all those big celebrations at the Camp Nou because it's the first time that we're seeing any action in terms of football there in pretty much 2 years now, since May 2023. And for Barcelona to get back in their own home, their true home. Montjuic, of course, played a good home for them. They won a treble there as well. But still, everyone has been talking about how they need to be back at their true home. How much does that really help going out there for this season, for you to play at where you feel you really belong?
Yeah, it means so much to the players. Camp Nou, you know, it's special for the players, the fans, and everybody. I know it wasn't full today, so when it's fully finished, you can tell that this makes a difference. And I'm not going to say we saw all of it today, but overall, this is like your home ground. You want to be back as soon as possible. They are back now, and I think they all enjoy it.
Alan, no place like home?
Well, no place like home, but they better finish this thing. And honestly, the reports have been that, it's almost there. It's a matter of time. It's just a couple of permits here and there. Good Lord, it's still a construction zone. I don't know how the construction works in Barcelona, but I can just tell you, there are holes in the third deck everywhere. And look, I don't want to be the person who points this out. But they've been selling this story as if it was only a matter of time before they went back to Camp Nou.
It's been a long
I'm actually
time.
surprised that they're back at Camp Nou when you see how unfinished this stadium actually is. But hey, no place like home.
No place like home, but there's certain things.
Yeah, it's not like they're missing one chair here and one chair there. It's like
missing a lot.
a whole section worth of chairs that they're missing.
They'll get there. Some of us just operate on a much later time than others,
I
but we still get the
so.
job done.
Well, eventually.
That's all I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say. All right, well, up next for Barcelona, they do have a challenge in Chelsea, the world champions. Chelsea winning today against Burnley in Premier League action. What can we expect from this type of a matchup, Thomas, do you think?
Super exciting, definitely. But Chelsea, you know, I still don't know where to put them, because there are games when you think they're one of the best teams. We know they won the Club World Cup in the summer. So they've got all the talents, so many exciting players like Estevao in particular, the guy we've been talking about lately. And Barcelona, we've just seen. So one of the best matchups you can get. We talked about Bayern Arsenal, but Barcelona, Chelsea is another game. It's like, yeah, bring it on. I want to watch it.
It is going to be a good game, Ale. What are you expecting from this one? Because as Thomas said, we still are kind of on the fence as to what to expect from this Chelsea, or to see them be as consistent as the world champions tag would suggest.
Oh, we're still waiting to see what the real version of Chelsea is. We're also waiting to see if this is the real version of Barcelona, defensively speaking. And so while Chelsea have their inconsistencies, offensively, they can hurt you. They have enough talent. And so it'll be interesting to see what version of Barcelona we see in terms of the lineup and the selection, team selection by Hansi Flick, and whether he is, dare I say, a little bit more conservative, as he was today. This team was not standing on the midfield line as they have been over the course of the season. They were 20 yards back from there. That doesn't happen by accident. And so while we have said that, yeah, Hansi Flick, maybe he has been stubborn, maybe he's here to entertain, whatever the case may be, there was an adjustment today. He may not admit it, but there was an adjustment today, and it was noticeable.
Interesting to hear, of course, Alice say that. That word stubborn, that's a word that we've used to describe Hansi Flick for quite some time, because he's been so adamant that his system, his style, will work once it's played well, and he will eventually get the team playing well. Stubborn, is that the word that you'd use to describe it? And do you feel like he will make that adjustment that we saw today against the Chelsea?
I would have not used that term to describe it, because I think, obviously he thinks about the team, how they have to defend, how they attack, all aspects of it. But he's adamant that, this way of playing with the Barcelona team, this is how he wants to see his team, and to perfection the way they go forward. So if they attack all the time, there is no opportunity for the opposition to get in behind. I've seen it with Bayern Munich, Vincent Kompany keeping a high line. See how well they're doing.
Yeah.
Now, we all know LaLiga is slightly different to the Bundesliga, and yet I think Hansi Flick wants to think offensively. He wants to think about the team in possession. He wants to attack, create chances. That's why stubborn is probably not the term I would use, but I get it that people see it that way. And when you look at the game today, the result, he doesn't have to defend himself for that.
Yeah, Alex, not stubborn.
Wait.
We got the Hansi Flick whisper.
I said today there was a change. Today there was an adjustment.
He just won't admit it.
Yeah, well, he won't admit it, but there was a change, and then there was an adjustment today. And so, to be fair to me, because let's be honest, all he cares about me. To be fair to me, I did say he was being a little stubborn in the pregame, and that I wasn't asking for them to change the way they play. Adjustment, a little adjustment. And 10 yards, 15 yards dropping off when there's no pressure on the ball, that's the little adjustment that I'm talking about. So Hansi Flick, essentially what I'm telling you is, you did what I asked you to do. Good job, Hansi. There you go.
Ooh, do you want to give yourself a little pat on the back there?
Well, I'm just saying, it is about me, Alexis. This is, I woke up this morning and I figured I would make it about me.
We love that. We love
I
it.
like the energy in here. I
You
like
love
that.
that?
So good.
Oh,
Oh,
Thomas,
yeah.
we'll keep you
I'm
anytime.
getting all your confidence from both sides. Yeah, that's good.
Yes.
Just
It's about me, Thomas. It really
One other
is.
thing on Hansi Flick, though, just the fact that we've spoken so much about that, yes, it makes for exciting football, and yes, they got away with it for a whole season last season, and it worked successfully. But it's always just a matter of time before all the other teams around Europe start watching and go, we can figure this out. And we have started to see that to a certain extent. Of course, Barcelona have the firepower to outscore opponents. But is this realistically sustainable? They won the treble last year, Thomas, and now I'm sure they'll try the same plus the Champions League. So to win that in the Champions League playing like this, is it sustainable?
It's a tough one. I think not that extreme if you keep such a high line all the time. I don't think it is, because you play the top teams in Europe, you're going to get exposed at some point. But if you're that strong offensively, if you keep scoring goals, 3-4 goals per game, it's tough for other teams to come back and score as many goals or more. But overall, I remember the Champions League game last season against Bayern Munich. It was the same. It was so high up, and Bayern Munich, kept getting chances. So he'll look into that, but I think it's be a tough one. I'll probably see one or two teams that are better than him right now. But as we know, the Champions League will be decided in March, April, May. That's when we talk about come back here and see whether he's adjusted even more.
Where I do agree with Thomas is that they're exciting to watch.
Yes.
You want to watch a
Unless you're
team.
a defender.
Well, you want to watch a team that you know is going to score goals and that you know is going to give up chances. It's going to be back and forth. It is Barcelona. So you want an entertaining team, Barcelona should be your team, because there's no doubt that no matter who they play, because it really doesn't matter. They could play the best or the worst. They're going to have chances, and the team that they're playing against are going to have chances as well, which makes them, by definition, entertaining. So if that's what Hansi Flick is trying to do, well done, Hansi.
4-0. It took us some time to pry our Luis Garcia away from all the partying and the fireworks and festivities, Luis, but we finally have you here with us. Talk to me your thoughts on this win, because we're kind of surprised that Barca have been able to keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, exactly, Alexis. I think that we all surprised. It's been quite a long time that we haven't seen this Barcelona side not conceding, and I think it's to celebrate because again, it was the first game here in Barcelona, the Camp Nou. There was a lot of celebration, a lot of noise, but definitely a game that it needs to be win. And today we saw a fantastic performance. I think overall it was great. Intensity. They had the ball, they had the possession, they got the control. Very important. I know the Ale has been talking about that there's been something different for this Barcelona side, and I think that difference was the intensity that we saw. The team was very compact, very narrow. They didn't leave spaces for Athletic Bilbao. When they lost the ball in a couple of occasions, they were on the ball again, keeping the Athletic Bilbao on their side. And in the end, those goals, of course, they were important. When we saw Lewandowski scoring in the beginning of the game, allowed them to control a bit more the game. But the red card, I think, put away the game, and we saw a very good performance for the Barcelona side. So very happy to see that once again they can keep that clean sheet, but this needs to be a little bit more consistency. Having played the first game here at the Camp Nou, let's hope that for the next one they can manage to do it again. Very important game in the Champions League, but overall a very good performance.